Welcome to the Breaking Through Diabetes Masterclass. I am so happy that you're here. It is literally an honor. I'm coming to you from a place of love and passion. My name is Dr. Stephanie Mayeraw, and I'm an internal medicine doc. And literally, I am purely focused on teaching you how to eat carbs to stop suffering from diabetes. Yes, I know, it sounds like an oxymoron. It sounds like, wait, those two are opposite. They're not, because guess what? The healthiest foods on the planet have carbs. So, with that said, am I actually gonna tell you not to eat the healthiest foods on the planet? No, because those foods are gonna help you get rid of your diabetes. Break through diabetes and get to the other side, which is what? Less meds, more control, more freedom, more power, right? My whole purpose is to empower you. I'm an internal medicine doctor, and I wasn't always like this. It wasn't until I saw people coming back to the hospital, in and out, in and out, in and out, for the same thing. And I realized, wait, what am I actually doing? I'm saving their life so that they can go out to the same lifestyle that brought them here to begin with? No way, no way. I need to do something about this. And that's why I'm here, and that's why you're here too. Now remember, I'm a doctor, but I'm not your doctor, at least not yet. So everything we talk about here is purely for informational purposes. I mean, the more you know, the more you can apply so that you can actually get the results you're looking for, right? But with all that said, if you're gonna change your diet and lifestyle, which I really hope you do, I mean, that's why we're here, that's why you're here, you need to reach out to your doctor and let them know. Now, who's ready to learn how to eat carbs and stop suffering from diabetes? Come on, ooh, let's go! Thank you so much for being here. Invite your friends, invite your family members that need to know about diabetes and what they can do to improve their health, potentially reverse their disease forever. Because let's get real. As a diabetic, I mean, it's sometimes overwhelming. It's sometimes frustrating. The medications, the finger sticks, figuring out what to eat, what not to eat. Going to a restaurant can be the biggest mission. And going to a restaurant is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be somewhere where you can unwind and have fun. And it's sometimes so frustrating. Not only if you have diabetes, but also if you have high blood pressure, or if you're overweight, or you have high cholesterol, or your doc is looking at your labs sometimes and is like, you really, have to lose weight. You have to improve your cholesterol. You got to stop eating fatty foods. And it's just, they send you out on your way and you're just so confused. Like, how do I do this? Right? And that's why I'm here. I'm here to empower you so that you're not confused, you're not frustrated, and things can be a little simpler. Okay, I didn't say easy though. Change is never easy. You're always going to want to resist change. Your body's not going to want to do it. Your mind's not going to want to do it. Your temptations are going crazy. That's normal. That's normal. But my job is to make things simple, easy to understand, and understanding what's happening inside of our bodies is the primary focus. Because if you don't know what's happening inside your body when you go to eat something, when you go to work out, when you go to check your finger sticks, I mean, you won't know how to make a decision that's educated and that ultimately is going to get you the result you're looking for, which is not being disease-ridden, not being restricted by your body. And not only that, not settling for the body you have right now. Don't settle for what's happening on the inside. Don't settle. There are greater things for you in the future. Your body right now, I don't care how old you are, it doesn't have to be that way forever.
if you give your body the right foods, the right environment, it'll do what you need it to do, which is heal itself. You don't have to get too complicated on, oh my gosh, do I have enough magnesium? People get go and they go to the GNC or they go to the supplement store and they're just like, magnesium, do I need magnesium? Does anyone know what even magnesium does for you? Like, do I need that? Do I need to buy magnesium? What about zinc? Should I buy like that, like purely, like fully mineral-based supplement, or should I just add vitamins to it? What's the difference between a vitamin and a mineral? It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need to, well, I mean, if you want to know that stuff, absolutely. It's super fun. I'm nerdy, so I love that stuff too, but you don't have to make it complicated, because let me give you a little secret as to what we're going to talk about today. Plants have it all. Plants are going to do everything for you. You don't have to be too detailed on certain elements or substances, because plants have it all. And as long as you increase your variety, and as long as you're conscious of every decision you make in regards to, you know, is this healthy or not healthy, which we're going to go through that today, you don't have to make things complicated. Things can be very simple. And that's what I'm going to teach you. And can I just mention one thing? You don't have to be hungry either. You don't have to count calories or carbohydrates or you don't have to use any math at all. I'm going to teach you a way where not only are you going to understand your body and what's happening inside with your diabetes, or maybe even other chronic diseases that you have. We're going to focus though today on diabetes. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to spend about 30 to 45 minutes talking about what is diabetes? Why do you have it? And primarily, we're going to talk about type 2 diabetes and pre-diabetes, because they're both caused by the same thing, and gestational diabetes if you're pregnant, but it's basically caused by the same thing. Okay, so that's what's going to be our primary focus. If you have type 1 diabetes or autoimmune diabetes, whether you had it as a child or had it got it when you're older, we could talk about that in another lecture. But still, what I'm going to teach you is going to be significant for a type 1 diabetic, no matter what. The diet that I'm going to teach you is going to be important for a type 1 diabetic. But the cause that we're going to talk about today is purely for pre-diabetics, type 2 diabetics, and it's going to help you understand what's happening down to the cellular level. Okay. Now, as some of you might know, or maybe some of you don't know, but I'm a doctor, and I'm an internal medicine doctor. So my specialty is what's happening on the inside, everywhere on the inside. And so I know the perspective of your doctor. I know how it feels to get to your doctor's office, wait hours and hours while your doctor is seeing a bunch of other patients, showing up, being with him or her for about 10 minutes, and leaving the same way you got in there, not feeling any better, not really knowing your plan of action other than that I got some pills to take with me. And somehow these pills are going to be, I guess, curing my disease or managing it, or is it going to make me feel better? You're not quite sure, but you know that you got pills, you know that you got a prescription, and you know you got to see him or her back in 3 months. I know how that feels. I was that doctor. I would see you, take 10, 15 minutes because I had 30 other patients to see in the waiting room waiting for me, right? Prescribe you something, get you on your way, diagnose you really quick, right in front of me. That was my specialty, diagnosis, send you on your way with some pills. So I know how it feels on that side. I also know how it feels to be a patient. I know how it feels to get bad news. I also know how it feels to be the family member of a patient. How it feels to hear your loved one get bad news. and the effect it has on them and, of course, on you as the family member. It was a day after my C-section, after my third baby, and it was 5 o'clock in the morning, nighttime still, and I get woken up by a neurologist, and he said, "Hey, Stephanie, I have some news." And it hurts me to say this, Stephanie, because I know that you're a doctor and I know that you help people. And I hate to give bad news to doctors. This is what he tells me, the neurologist. And I'm like, oh man, like my throat is closed up. Like the tears are coming out of my eyes already, like watery. I feel like that hit you get in your gut. When someone just like punches you in the gut, you get like that shallow breathing. And he tells me, "We found something on your brain MRI." And mind you, I have still the headache. That was the whole reason for the consultation. I still have the headache. It's like pounding in my head. And now he's telling me after a 2-hour MRI that I did at 12 o'clock midnight, he comes back a couple hours later saying that there's bad news. So I absolutely know how it feels to get bad news. Whether it's a diagnosis of diabetes, whether it's a diagnosis of any other chronic disease, or any medical diagnosis. It's like your life changes 180. It goes from you thinking that you're healthy, you thinking that you're strong, you thinking that you're good. I'm gonna live until 100. I'm gonna see my great grandkids. I'm gonna be running around playing in the backyard forever. I can go on vacations whenever I want. To holy bejesus, is it possible that I won't be here in a couple years? So the difference between a diagnosis of diabetes and a diagnosis like that I got, which is something you're born with, something you don't really expect, something you don't really feel. He said, "Stephanie, you have a brain aneurysm." Okay. You were born with it. It's your left ophthalmic artery. Okay. All right. But it's not causing your headaches. I'm like, okay, well, great. So there's something else? There's something else there then? Oh, and by the way, you have this like anatomical abnormality that's called a Chiari malformation. No big deal, but you know, it's an anomaly that you were born with. Oh, great. So there's a third? This is just, I got 3 babies. I just had a baby yesterday, right? Okay, cool. Yeah. So, the difference between that diagnosis and a diagnosis of diabetes, although we feel the same way, it's a hit to the gut. It is like life-changing. Like, hey man, I guess I'm not invincible. The difference is that when you're diagnosed with diabetes or high blood pressure or high cholesterol or even heart disease, I got good news for you. There's something you could do about it. I can't do anything about my aneurysm. That is what it is. I was born with it. They found it. Now I just got to make sure I can't do anything to mess up my arteries. Whatever it is, I cannot do anything to mess up my blood vessels. My blood vessels are treated as gold from now on. Right? But with a diagnosis of diabetes, you can do everything to get rid of it. at least to be on the way to get rid of it. So if you will allow me at the end of this lecture, I am going to introduce a program where it is my baby, and I think you're going to love it. So let's get started on what is diabetes and why the heck do you have it? Now, everyone thinks that diabetes is caused by sugar. Doctors talk about sugar and carbohydrates. You see it all over the media. You see it everywhere. I mean, even your parents, even from when you were a little girl. Did you know that I have patients coming in and telling me when I ask them, oh, what medical conditions do you have? Oh, I got the sugar. I got the pressure. It's like, it's called the sugar. There are cultures that call it the sugar. So of course you're going to think that diabetes is caused by sugar. And so what do? As doctors, as patients, you follow a low carb diet. And where does that get you? Where do you think that gets you? Nowhere. You still have diabetes. Maybe you're on a little less medications if you're super duper strict about it, but you still have diabetes. You can't eat a piece of bread or eat some rice without seeing your blood sugar shoot sky high, which means you still have diabetes. The definition of someone with diabetes and without diabetes, what's the difference? The difference is that this person without diabetes can have candy, can have a cupcake, can have bagels, and the sugar remains normal. Why? Because our own body compensated. Your pancreas said, hey, I got to make more insulin. There's a lot more sugar going into the blood, so I got to make more insulin. And therefore, you handle it. Your body handles it. As a diabetic, you can't do that. You eat a whole bowl of candy, your sugar shoots up to 200. If you're very uncontrolled, it could shoot up to 300, 400, 500 just by eating some candy. Right? That is a definition of a diabetic. You can't handle any type of carbohydrate. That's a disease. Carbohydrate intolerance. So, why do we have this? Why do we have this carbohydrate intolerance? What is causing it? So I hope you brought some pen and paper because I want you to draw something for me. I want you to draw a circle and 2 lines above the circle. Let me just draw it really quick. The circle represents a cell. The circle represents a cell, and this represents your blood vessel. Okay? Now, in your blood, there are a lot of substances, a lot, but we're just going to focus on 2. Okay? We are going to focus on insulin and glucose. Now, glucose is the sugar form of energy in our human body. We intake food and it gets converted to glucose. So glucose is what our body uses for energy, for fuel. So without this sugar molecule, we're dead. We cease to survive. So we need glucose. We need this sugar molecule. It is like the gasoline to your car. Without this, we're dead. Okay? And our body does everything possible to make this so that our cells can use it for energy. Okay? So where does insulin come to play? Now, on the surface of the cell, this is normal physiology, okay? Normal physiology. On the surface of the cell, there's a receptor. The insulin binds to this receptor, and see the receptor like a lock. Insulin is the key to the lock. So insulin puts the lock in the key, puts the key, puts the key in the lock. And what does that do? It causes a door or a channel to open in the cell. That channel or door that's open allows for glucose to enter the cell so that the cell can have a party. It has energy, it's working, everything is functioning great. So what happens in the blood? You have a drop in insulin and you have a drop in glucose. So you don't have high glucose levels, you don't have high insulin levels because everything is working perfectly. Now, what happens when you have diabetes? Where in this does it go wrong? So when you have diabetes, this doesn't work. The lock doesn't work. Therefore, the door doesn't open. Therefore, glucose, our sugar molecule, goes up. Insulin also goes up because it's not working. It can't bind. So you have insulin and glucose going up in the blood, causing hyperglycemia and hyperinsulinemia. And it's funny because you don't hear that word often. You don't hear hyperinsulinemia often. You always hear hyperglycemia, elevated blood sugars, elevated blood sugars, elevated blood sugars. But elevated insulin levels is highly associated with all chronic diseases, premature death, heart disease, and even cancer. So both of these together is a recipe for disaster. Now, notice how elevated sugar levels come after, right? I just told you this lock doesn't work. Therefore, the door didn't open. Therefore, the sugar couldn't go into the cell and it stays out in the blood. So this comes after. So wait. Dr. Steph, okay. You just told me that high blood glucose comes after a diagnosis of diabetes. Yes. Therefore, sugar cannot cause diabetes. It is a consequence. High sugar is a consequence of diabetes. It comes after. And it's so, how do I say this? Priority for everybody, because this is the way we sort of measure diabetes. We look at the consequence of diabetes by checking your blood sugar. So everyone thinks that blood sugar, oh my gosh, sugar, carbohydrates causes my diabetes. But it's not. It's a consequence. High sugars in your blood are a consequence of diabetes. So, what causes diabetes? What's going on? Why the heck doesn't this receptor work? Why can't this door open? Why can't glucose come in? Why can't insulin bind? What's going on? It's called fat. Intramyocellular lipid. A fancy way to say fat inside the cell. Intra meaning inside, myo meaning muscle, cellular meaning cell, lipid meaning fat. Intramyocellular lipid. Basically lipid toxicity, fat toxicity. Too much fat in your body is causing this not to work, this door not to open, and sugar and insulin going up in your bloodstream. Therefore, fat, my friends, fat is the cause of type 2 diabetes. So now that you know that it's not the sugar, that it's not the carbs, that the elevated sugar levels don't cause my diabetes, but actually the diabetes is causing my elevated sugar levels. Now that you know that it's the fat behind it all, oh my gosh, what is the next step? what do you think the next step is? What are we going to do with fat? Are we going to cut it off? We're going to go to I live in Miami. Are we going to go to Miami plastic surgery and cut it off? No, it doesn't work. They've tried that. It doesn't work. You could get lipo. You could cut your belly off. You could cut your arms and your legs. It doesn't work. Because we're talking about the fat inside of our abdomen. We're talking about the fat that's surrounding our organs. We're talking about the fat that's inside our blood. Oh my gosh, did you know that after a fatty meal, literally, if they take your blood after a fatty meal, let's say you went to McDonald's and you had a Big Mac and fries, and they take some blood. And let's say they also took blood before you had McDonald's, and they compare it. The tube of blood after McDonald's is cloudy, yellowish, thick, viscous, because that fat got deposited in your blood. And this is proven, you guys. I mean, like, you could go and do this. It is nuts. Okay. So we're not talking about, liposuction. We're not talking about, plastic surgery. We're talking about a complete 180. We're talking about eliminating fat in your diet and on your body in general, which means losing weight. So the fat you eat and the fat you wear are going to cause or continue to progress your diabetes. Instead of telling you the complications of diabetes, let me just tell you a story. It's way funner this way. I had a guy come in. I think it was like 3 weeks ago, maybe. He had kidney failure. He was already on dialysis. Dialysis is pretty brutal. It's arduous. It's 3 times per week, hours a day. We're talking about 3, 4, sometimes 5 hours hooked up to a machine where it's filtrating all of your blood through the machine and pumping it back in. I mean, we're talking about huge stress on the body, huge. And a huge waste of time. I think like 5 hours stuck in a chair in a machine. I mean, that sucks. Your blood pressures are going down. I mean, it's a disaster. No, he's used to it. He's been on dialysis for about 6 months now. Kidney biopsy showed diabetes as the cause. This guy also had high blood pressure. He was on 5 different medications for blood pressure. 5. That's like maxed out completely. I mean, we were using things like clonidine and labetalol, like sort of last resort meds for him. Huge side effects to all of these meds, by the way. 5 different meds. Of course, he was on a cholesterol medication. I mean, that was like the least of his worries, right? I mean, he's had high cholesterol for the last 30 years. High intensity statin, I mean, the whole 9. Obviously, he had diabetes. He was on 40 units of insulin twice a day, long acting, and almost 20 units before every meal. We're talking about like mega doses of insulin, guys, mega doses. And remember, we talked about this. Lots of sugar and lots of insulin together in your bloodstream wreaks havoc to all your organs. I mean, this guy already had kidney failure. He had fatty liver disease. I mean, he didn't have cirrhosis yet, but he had fatty liver disease because it also affects your liver. By the way, he was legally blind. He had a very severe diabetic retinopathy. Lo and behold, he came in for none of that. No complications from that aspect. But he came in with a big old ulcer on his leg. Non-healing. Had been there for about a couple months. Getting worse. Infected. And that's what he came in for. So, luckily, he wasn't in shock and, we got him better. He was discharged on antibiotics. Wasn't a bone infection, although bone infections are high on the list of complications. So we're talking about blindness. It's the number one cause of blindness, diabetes. We're talking about kidney failure. We're talking about fatty liver disease. We're talking about ulcers and non-healing. It's hard to heal when you have diabetes. We're talking about bone infections. Infections in general can get you. So I don't want this for you. And P.S., this guy was 68 years old. I mean, that's a young guy for me. I mean, on my hospital list, I have five patients over 90. So 68 for me is young. That's a child. So for this guy, I mean, by the way, he looked like he's 90. So for this guy that's 68 years old, having all of these medical conditions, I mean, you know he's going to die prematurely. And by the way, he already had 2 stents. He already had 2 heart attacks where they had to go in, do a cardiac catheterization, which is basically going through the blood vessel, going all the way up to the heart, found the occlusion, was able to open it up with a stent. This guy already had coronary artery disease. How many of you out there know somebody with any of these diseases? Coronary artery disease, kidney failure, liver failure, blindness. How about just unrelenting pain from a neuropathy? I mean, this is real, guys. This is real. So what I'm going to talk about next is how to prevent all of this. I don't want to meet you in the hospital. I want to meet you here now. You and I together here. This is where I want to meet you. When I meet you in the hospital, I'm not going to say it's too late, but let's prevent that. Let's make sure that you don't have to get to the hospital and never come out. Because I've had a lot of those lately. End up in the unit, in shock, and just leave us. So let's do everything possible to make that your purpose. I don't want to die. I don't want to die suffering. I don't want to die early. I want to be here for my family. I want to enjoy my life. Look, let's be real. You deserve it. You don't deserve to settle into a body that's not serving you. You don't deserve that. You deserve a long, happy, healthy, vital, energetic life to do whatever it is you want to do. Help people, give to others, be around for your family, help your family, support people. Like, I know that that's what you want to be and that's what you want to do. So maybe it's time to be a little selfish to be selfless. Focusing on yourself is not selfish. It's actually quite the opposite. It's selfless. Because then you will be able to give more to others and be around longer. And maybe even not be a burden for other people. I mean, today it hit me. It hit me hard today seeing this one patient I had. She is 93 years old. She was older. But she was bedbound, moaning in pain. She had dementia. By the way, dementia is a huge risk factor, complication-wise for diabetes. She also had diabetes, but she had very advanced dementia. And I mean, I've had so many patients just like her that were not 93, but in their 60s as well. 70s and 80s with dementia, bedbound, advanced, cachectic, thin, contracted. That's not something I wish on anybody. So let's do everything possible to prevent that. So that our family doesn't have to see us like that. help us for years. Like some of these people suffer for years. And we lost them already mentally 10 years ago, but their body is still there. And let me tell you, us doctors, we're really good at keeping people alive. Whether it's the quality of life you want, we're really good at it. Trust me, I do it every day. But what kind of quality do we have? So, with that said, the quality in our food is of utmost importance. What we put in our mouth will dictate your future. Guaranteed. Studies prove it. And well, I see it every day. What you eat can dictate what diseases you get, what diseases you won't get, what diseases you can prevent, what diseases you can reverse. Your food is so important. It is life. It is medicine. Food is medicine. So let's talk about food. I'm going to give you a list, and I want you to write this down. These are the foods that I want you to that I want you to avoid at all times in order to prevent all of those complications we talked about with diabetes. These are the foods I want you to eat in order to start your journey to reverse your diabetes, guys. It's not 100% guaranteed, because if your pancreas is shot, well, at least we can prevent the complications. We can drop your insulin dose. We cannot make you so hyperinsulinemic, so hyperglycemic. This is really what wreaks havoc. Pancreas or not. If your pancreas doesn't work, that's okay. We can use some insulin. But as long as it's not mega doses like my other patient, 80 of long acting and 60 of short acting. Whoa, almost 200 units of insulin. That's nuts. That's nuts. Right? That's what we don't want. So, what do? We avoid fat in our diet. And by avoiding fat in our diet, we will eventually lose the fat in our bodies. The fat that's really important, which is the visceral fat, the fat we were talking about before that's surrounding your organs, the ones that go into your bloodstream and wreak havoc. So number 1, no dairy. No cheese. No milk. Wait, no cheese? But cheese. I know. Everyone says the same thing. P.S. It's not you. It's the cheese that makes you love it. Has nothing to do. Oh my God, I can't stop eating cheese. I can't stop eating it. I just love cheese. But it's the cheese that's doing that. It's the cheese that makes you addicted. It has nothing to do with you. 0. Cheese has something called casomorphins. Casomorphins are these substances that bind to the receptor, the pleasure receptors in our brains that secrete dopamine and serotonin. Those are the neurotransmitters that, when a gambler goes to the casino and just is pressing the button and just continues to put in the money, continues to press the button. Those are the same neurotransmitters. Same neurotransmitters that a drug addict shoots up heroin. Same neurotransmitters, my loves. Same neurotransmitters. So look at cheese as like heroin. There's no turning back. You have one piece of cheese, you need to have a second and a third and a fourth and a fifth. Next thing you know, you're just throwing cheese on everything. All you eat is the cheese. My daughter did it the other day. She discovered cheese with her friends. Oh my gosh, obsessed. She started eating more of the pizza. Like, oh my gosh, what is this? It has nothing to do with you. It's the substance. It's the thing. And what else does cheese have? What else does dairy have? Fat, my friends, and a lot of it. It's about 70 to 80% saturated fat, and it has cholesterol. These are the worst combinations. The worst. Saturated fat and cholesterol. That is what's going to cause your diabetes. That is what's going to cause your heart disease. That's what's going to cause your dementia, your kidney failure, your liver failure, all of it. Saturated fat and cholesterol needs to be avoided at all costs. So the list I'm going to give you are the foods that have the highest amount of saturated fat and cholesterol. And these are the foods you avoid. So dairy. Number 2, oils. All of them. Yes, even avocado. Yes, even olive oil. All of them need to be avoided. Why? Because it is the most concentrated form of fat out there. So many calories per tiny little amount of volume. I mean, you have oil in your body. Your stomach barely even recognizes it as a food. Remember, our stomach works as stretch receptors. So let's say you have right now, you take a little cup and you take oil. You think your stomach is even gonna know it's even in there? It's not even gonna stretch at all. But let me tell you, you just drank 300 calories. Where do you think those calories go? They're gonna get absorbed. Where do you think the fat goes? It's gonna get absorbed. And it's gonna get stuck in your blood. And it's gonna wreak havoc all over your system. So oils, my gosh, all of them need to be avoided. Number 3, junk food, processed foods. Why? Because they are jam-packed with oils. And they're jam-packed with dairy. And they are highly addictive. I mean, have you ever had one chip? Who's had just one chip? The only way you can have just one chip is if you eat the chip and throw the bag away and step on it and not even pick it up from the garbage can. That is the only way you can have one chip. They do it on purpose. You think these food manufacturers care about your health? No, they just care about you eating more, buying it again. So processed foods, my love, and I use the word junk food and I use the example of chips. But can any of you think of other processed foods that are not just chips? Things that maybe might be overlooked at the grocery store or when you go out, to a restaurant. So anything that comes in a package, anything that's pre-made for you. So all of these, vegan dinners or check out these vegan chips or these vegan Oreos or these vegan diabetic friendly crackers. It's not real. They're extremely unhealthy, extremely refined. These are refined carbohydrates. These are the type of carbohydrates that as soon as you put it in your mouth, your bloodstream absorbs it because they have nothing else in there. There's no nutrition, there's no fiber, there's nothing that allows for slow absorption of food, of carbohydrates, of sugar. So processed foods are a no-no. And within processed foods are processed meats, like hot dogs and ham and turkey. All of these foods have so much fat in them, so much that it's going to contribute to your diabetes. And can I add one more thing? They're also carcinogens. Carcinogens are substances that cause cancer. So you want to avoid processed meats, not just because of diabetes, but because they're going to increase your cancer risk. What else? Eggs. Anything that comes from an animal, whether it's the flesh of an animal, whether it's the egg of the animal, so fish, shrimp, shellfish, chicken, pork, cow, anything that comes from the animal, the eggs, the milk, right? Anything that comes from the animal is going to have not just saturated fat, not just cholesterol, but it is the top source of trans fat in the world. Second is processed foods. But first, it's animals. And trans fat is like an accelerator of heart disease. I mean, it destroys your arteries. Talk about atherosclerosis. So you want to avoid these because guess what's going to get you? It's going to be heart disease. It's our number one killer for a reason. It causes premature death and suffering because no one likes to have chest pain and shortness of breath when they walk to the bathroom. And eventually that's where it leads to a horrible quality of life. So you're just suffering for the last 3, 4, 5, 10 years of your life. Oh, and then you just die. And some people are happy to die after living so terribly. I don't want that to be you. What's your purpose? Why are you doing this? Why are you here with me right now? Why do you want to make a change? What's driving you? Find it. Take a moment today. Maybe, right before going to bed, maybe when the lights are dim. Take out your notebook or take out your phone and dictate whatever it is, but find it. Write it down and repeat it every day. It's going to help you make the decisions that you need to have the future you deserve. So what's going to help us have the future we deserve? I'm going to make it really simple for you. Plants. Plants are the key, baby. Vegetables. Whole grains. Fresh fruit, whole fruit, legumes, beans, lentils, chickpeas, garbanzos. That is health. That is what's going to give your body what it needs to heal itself from your disease. That is going to give you life, vitality, energy to live the life that you deserve. Now, there's 4 food groups. You need to write this. 4 food groups, because these are the foods that I want you to eat. You need it. Whole fresh fruit. Fruit. And I know you're like, oh my God, wait, I'm a diabetic. I can't have fruit. My doctor told me, my friends, everybody knows that you can't have fruit when you're a diabetic. Absolutely incorrect. That is a myth that is false. Fruit is glorious, not just because of the vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and all of that healing power, no, but also because of the fiber. Now, fiber is this special matrix that's inside of fruits, legumes, whole grains, vegetables. This fiber is a matrix where, guess what? Sugar sort of gets trapped in there. And when you eat the fiber, the sugar does not immediately go into your bloodstream. So it allows this beautiful, steady state of blood sugar. It doesn't cause these highs and lows and highs and lows because the fiber allows for slow absorption of sugar. It is amazing. It is designed for us, for humans. God did this on purpose. He's a smart guy. He knows what he did to us. He knows. Sugar is important to live. You need it. It's our primary fuel source. If you don't have these beautiful complex carbohydrates that are in fruit, that are in legumes, beans, chickpeas, lentils, split peas, if you don't have this fuel, this healing power for our body, you're going to continue to have diabetes. You're going to continue to add to the list of diagnoses that you have. I promise you, it's going to happen. Whether it's tomorrow, a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, it's going to happen. I can almost guarantee it for you. Why? Because I see it every day, and not just because of my personal experience, but because the studies show it. I would never tell you something that is my opinion. I will always back it up with the research. Because, that's what doctors do. I was born and went to medical school in an era where evidence-based medicine is the core. Now, maybe before my generation, it was more tending to experience, but my generation is purely evidence-based. That's how we were raised in this field. So I would never just tell you my opinion, ever. This is pure scientific literature. So after fruit, number 2, I already mentioned it, legumes, beans, chickpeas, lentils, split peas, beautiful complex carbohydrates. Oh, and can I tell you what else they have? So when you eat beans for one meal, yes, you're going to have beautifully controlled blood sugars, but guess what? They have something called the second meal effect. So you eat beans for one meal, you check your sugars after your second meal, even if you didn't have beans, and your sugars are still going to be controlled. Beans are miraculous. You need to incorporate beans in your life, especially as a diabetic. Number 3, vegetables. Obviously my favorite. Vegetables, green vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, starchy vegetables, non-starchy vegetables, any veggie that you like. Eat it. Eat it, my friends, and eat a lot of it. And guess what? It barely has any calories. And guess what, too? It keeps you full. And guess what? Number 3, it is going to heal you and prevent your chronic diseases. So eat them up, baby. Pick your favorite. Explore. Pick the rainbow on your plate. The purples, the reds, the greens, the yellows, the whites. Oh my gosh. It's heavenly for your body, for your immune system, for your skin, for your organs. For everything. Heavenly. Every meal. Number 4, whole grains. Yes, rice. I said it. The word rice to a diabetic. No way. It's like the first thing doctors say. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is no rice, no bread. You're good. Get out of here. I'll see you in 3 months. Well, that wasn't helpful at all. And it's BS. BS. You can have rice, my friends. You can have it every day. It has to be a special rice, though. I don't want you to start having buckets of white rice. I don't want you to have buckets of white bread, Wonder Bread, out the door. No. Processed crap. It's just going to increase your blood sugars and give you no nutrition. You need brown rice, quinoa, farro, millet, wild rice, black rice. Oh my gosh, have you ever had black rice? It is phenomenal, amazing. That's what you need to incorporate. Beautiful whole grains that have complex carbohydrates, that allow for nice steady blood sugars, that actually help you lose weight. Yes. And not only that, you're not going to be hungry. How many of you have been on a diet where you're just hungry all day? I've been there so many times. No more. No more hungry. And by the way, it's one of my key points to my program that I'm going to explain to you. No hunger is allowed. You cannot be hungry. And with the food that I help you with every single day, it's going to allow you not to be hungry, not to be starving, not to be savage. So whole grains, and that includes oatmeal. Yes, I know. A lot of people think that they can't have oatmeal because it's high in carbohydrates. It's all about what carbohydrate, right? What carbohydrate are you eating? If you have complex carbohydrates, which are the carbohydrates that are in plants, those are the carbohydrates that are going to help your diabetes, worsen them. Now, you start eating simple carbs. You start having candy. Obviously. You start having Starbucks mocha laca frappuccinos. Obviously. I see you laughing, girl. I know. It's like obvious. It's going to increase your blood sugars. Now you go get some black coffee. Okay, fine. I allow you to get to Starbucks. I love Starbucks. I always have my espresso from there. But I don't add the vanilla syrup, the creme brulee, the sprinkles of like peppermint, whatever, smoke-a-laga-laga. Right? You can't do that. Those simple carbohydrates are going to get you as a diabetic. Now, in the future, once you go through my program, yes, you can have it one day because we're going to free you from your diabetes, free you from your disease. Freedom! You're going to have it. It's going to be yours. Please, freedom. You can have your mocha latte and your sugars will be nice, steady, and controlled because you will no longer be burdened by diabetes. Now, I want you to join my program. It's a 14-day program. It is freaking awesome. Why? Because you don't have to think about anything. I tell you what to do every single day. I mean, I don't tell you what to do, but, well, yeah, I tell you what to do. I give you suggestions. I give you recipes. I give you a guide, detailed day by day, step by step, educational videos on what you need to do and why you need to do them. It is so important that you take over. You need to take control of your life, of your future, of your body, of your health. Not just your body, but your mental health too. And you guys, it's only $97. I mean, this thing is like, I might as well give it away for free. It's nothing. $97. It's gonna jumpstart your health. Because right now, everything that you've done, let's be real, guys. It's not working. I mean, you're here with me for a reason. You're looking for something new. You're looking for answers. You're looking for the why. You're looking for a reason. This is the reason. Your future, your body, your mind, your energy. I mean, how many of you suffer from fatigue and brain fog and stress and tension, anger, frustration on a daily basis? How many of you are busy all the time, but yet you're giving your body the fuel that's just not working? It's not enough, which is why you get diseases like high blood pressure and diabetes and high cholesterol and heart disease and all of these things we've talked about, kidney failure, liver failure, dementia, retinopathy. I mean, gosh, the list is so long of reasons why you need to do this now. And can I give you a bonus? Yes, there's free bonuses. Of course, there's free bonuses. You're going to get recipes. You're going to get me personally as your coach. You're going to get a one-on-one free coaching sessions with moi, your doc, your new doc. Because I'm not like your other doctors. Let me just be real with you. I'm not like your other doctors. You're not going to see me for 10 minutes. Get a prescription and next. It's not me. Not anymore. I'm here for the long game. I'm here for you to be part of my team forever. To get rid of those restrictions you have, those limitations you have inside of your body. I know what's happening on the inside. Let me teach you. So that when you go to make a decision, when you go to order that food, when you go to make your meal, when you go to eat that spoonful of food, you're like, wait a second. Nah. I learned that this fat is going to clog everything up. It's going to make me more insulin resistant. It's going to clog up my arteries, causing heart disease. It's going to clog up the arteries in my brain, causing dementia. Can you imagine if I have dementia? What's going to happen? My husband has what? Oh my God. My kids. They're gonna take care of me all demented and stuff. I can't be a burden to my family. No way. That can't be me. Getting dialysis, like, can you imagine I'm gonna have to be picked up from dialysis because I feel so fatigued after and nauseous, and I gotta be stuck there for 5 hours, and I gotta call my hubby to pick me up, and or my wifey and my kids, and no way, I can't do that to them. I can't do that to them. Who are you doing this for? Are you doing this for you? Are you doing this for them? Are you doing this for the future you? God, the future you is going to look back like, yeah, baby. What? I'm so happy you made that decision. Simple $97 decision can literally change your life forever. What changed my life? You're going to laugh. You're going to laugh. So I was in my apartment. This was fresh out of residency. It was like 8 years ago. And you're never going to believe this, but I was sitting there eating an apple. What was it called? Smoked apple flavored sausage. And I was having a really hard time eating this thing. And I thought this was healthy for me. Mind you, you guys, I was already an MD. I already went through internal medicine residency. And I thought that I had to have protein. And so I would buy these like sausages because I didn't really like chicken. I didn't really like fish. I didn't really like shellfish. The smell kind of grossed me out. The only thing I really liked was like steak and these sausages. So I would force myself to eat these sausages because I thought they were healthy. You guys, I'm telling you, how you're raised and the people you're around and your peers and your friends have a huge influence on you. How many people agree with that? That your peers and your friends and your family and your mom and your dad and how you're raised and your everything and your social media, it has such an influence on you. It influenced knowing what's happening in our bodies, seeing the disease every day of my life. And I was still there thinking that this sausage is going to do something for my muscles. Oh, I worked out a lot today. I need to eat this sausage for protein. Craziness, guys, craziness. And then what changed my life? One video. His name is Dr. Neil Barnard. He's out of Washington, D.C. He's one of the pioneers of plant-based medicine and how it can reverse your disease. I heard this guy for 2 minutes, and that's all I needed. It was a 2-minute video, or the beginning of a video. I heard it for 2 minutes. That's all I needed to get up and throw that shitty ass sorry, I just said a bad word, but that horrible tasting sausage out my fridge into the garbage. And I said, I literally screamed this in my apartment. Like something in my gut says that this is wrong. Something in my gut said, because every time I would eat the sausage, literally something in my gut, I would run to the bathroom and have diarrhea. Like obviously something in my gut, yes. I was disgusted inside every time I ate it, but I thought, oh, how'd you eat it? It was like, I threw it away and I said, I knew it. And I spent the next week seeing all of his content, studying, going nuts. Like I literally became a lunatic for an entire week. And I say this story because one simple decision, a click, I just clicked. One simple action, one simple decision can change your life forever. Dude, one click changed my life. Look at me here. Look at me now. Changed my life forever. I had a slew of issues. I had IBS. I had migraines. Like a slew of issues. Issues always with weight gain and yo-yo dieting and all that stuff. They all disappeared. Because of one click, one decision. I paid attention to one guy. Then I went deep into the research. One decision can change your life forever. So what are you going to decide on today? Are you going to decide to join me so that I can change your life forever? Excuse me, so that we as a team can change your life forever. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you got a lot out of this. I went a little bit over, but I had to. Look, I like had tears in my eyes and everything. I have the mascara like dripping off my face. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being here. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have any stories, if you have anything that you want to share, please share. And of course, you can ask me later as well. It's not like I'm not available. I'm always available. I'm always posting. I'm always on Facebook. I'm always on DM. So you have my email. You can just reply back to all the emails I've sent. You guys rock. You guys rock. Never forget that. You're here for a reason. I'm going to leave. Wait, where's my chat? Where's my chat? Where's my chat? Let me leave the link so you guys can join me on my 14-day Jumpstart diabetes program. Bam. I'll also remind you on email. Join me. It's gonna change your life. It really is.
Welcome to the Breaking Through Diabetes Masterclass. I am so happy that you're here. It is literally an honor. I'm coming to you from a place of love and passion. My name is Dr.